Hi, this is Mike from Challenge Island, Oakland County East, back with our Steamtastic Friday. We're just wrapping up our car series this week on Challenge Island. So today we'll hit the M in STEAM, which is math. So I wanted to show you just a few really quick fun math facts we can do to help us get a feel for how cars work or how far we can go with them. So first, let's start out with a cool concept called miles per hour. So you've probably heard of this one in a few different places. If you look on signs on the road as you drive down the road, you might see a sign that says 55 miles per hour. Or if you look at the speedometer in your car, so if mom and dad are driving and you look at the speedometer, that would tell you how fast you're going. That's in miles per hour also. So when we say miles per hour, so of course there's two parts to that. So what that number tells us is how many miles we would go if we drive for 1 hour. So for example, so let's say we were driving 50 miles per hour. So if we drove for 1 hour that fast, we would go about 50 miles. So that's pretty straightforward, but if we go a little further, we can do some math with that. So for example, if we went 2 hours and wondered, how far would I get if I go 50 miles an hour? We take the 2 times the 50, and that gives us 100 miles. So let's say I'm here in the Detroit area. Let's say we're driving all the way from Detroit to Disney World, and we wonder, okay, how far could I get that way? So that's about 1,200 miles to go from Michigan to Florida. So if I go 50 miles an hour, I could take the 1,200 divided by 50, and that gives me the number of hours it would take. So 1,200 divided by 50, take about 24 hours of driving to get from Michigan all the way to Disney World. All right, let's do another math fact that can come in handy. Miles per gallon is also extremely important. So there's two parts to it. So it's how many miles can we go on 1 gallon of gas. So if you think of like a gallon of milk or chocolate milk or something like that, if you filled that up with gas, put that in your car, how far could your car go until it runs out of gas? So the average, maybe not so good car actually, might go say about 25 miles per gallon. So this is an example of a sticker you might see on a new car in a parking lot or in a car dealer lot. So it might look something like that. So that would tell us if we were driving down the highway and we just put 1 of those gallons into our gas tank, we could go about 25 miles. So if we want to start multiplying with that, if we put 2 gallons in, we could do 2 times 25 or 50 miles. Or if we wanted to get all the way to go to Disney World, like we were talking about earlier, if we were going 1,200 miles, we could go 25 miles on each gallon. So we take 1,200 divided by 25. That means we would need about 48 gallons. That would be a really big gas tank in our car. So we'd either have to have a really big car or we'd have to stop at a few gas stations along the way. That's what most people normally do. All right, let's do a couple more, but let's talk about electric cars. With electric cars, it's a little bit different because you can't really pour the gas in like you do. So you have to get the electricity in there somehow. So when we do that, one thing we talk about when we talk about electric cars is how far can we go? That's pretty important. We want to be sure there's enough energy in that battery to get us where we need to go. So one way we measure that is we talk about kilowatt hours per mile. So kilowatt hours is a way we measure how much energy is in that battery. And the miles is how many miles can we go with that before we run out of energy, kind of like running out of the gas in a regular car. So a fairly average car when it comes to power like that should be able to go at least 3 kilowatt hours per mile. So if we multiply that out, so that means in 2 miles, it would take about 6 kilowatt hours. So we could keep multiplying that up. Again, if we wanted to go all the way to Florida, that's about 1,200 miles. So if I wondered, how big of a battery would I have to fill up to make it all the way to Florida? I'd take the 1,200 divided by 3, 400 kilowatt hours. That would be a really, really big battery. So we don't have any batteries yet that we can put in a car to go that far. So we would have to fill it up along the way, which comes to our last measure we're going to talk about. So when we talk about filling up a battery, we talk in terms of kilowatts. So that's a way to kind of get a feel for, okay, when I put energy into the battery, how fast can I get it in there so I don't have to wait at the charging pump too long? So for example, if you have what we call a fast charger, we can get up to about 50 kilowatts in terms of how fast that goes in. So what that means, let's say like for a Chevy Bolt, an average Chevy Bolt these days has a battery about the size of 66 kilowatt hours, so smaller than the 400 we were hoping for on that last slide. But if we put the head end in our car, and if we could charge at 50 kilowatts, that means we could get our whole car charged up in just a little over 1 hour, so about 1 hour and 20 minutes or so. So now that we know that, let's say we wanted to go to Florida one more time. So we would want to get 400 kilowatt hours of energy out of our car. If we could fill that up at a speed of 50 kilowatts, that means we need a total of about 8 hours. So 400 divided by 50 is about 8 hours of charging. It would help us get all the way to Florida. So that doesn't sound so bad. So that might give us time to get some meals, take a little break along the way, and then we'd be able to get there. All right, with that, hopefully that math was helpful. So next time you're going down the road, either in a car that uses gas or a car that uses electricity, try using some of those math facts to get a feel for how far you can go or how long it's going to take you to fill up so that you can maybe get to your Disney World someday. All right, with that, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.